All right, folks, welcome back to the channel. You found us here at KGB Customs, home of what we believe is some of the best custom gun content on the web. We share these custom guns in hopes of sharing some knowledge and to catalog some of the great pieces that come through our shop. Thanks for joining us. If you hear in the background my dog's barking in the other room, it's windy and raining here in Ohio today, so they're in the office and they're mad that I'm not in there with them. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Today we've got a pretty awesome early C.T. Bryan custom gun here. This Colt built on a late 70s series, early 1980s production Colt government model. Just a classic looking build, classic styled build, and one that's one of Tim Bryan's earlier full house efforts, certainly. Those that don't know, Tim Bryan did pass away just about a year ago in 2024. He was born in 1955 in Missouri. His shop had moved around a little bit. He had been in Arizona, and he moved, I believe, to Wyoming at one point and then to Idaho. Tim was a member of the U.S. Air Force and a custom pistol smith pretty much the rest of his adult life. He was one of the founding members of Louder Than Words, LTW. They would build custom pistols and they'd collaborate on stuff and raffle that off or auction it off for charity. And they raised something like $500,000 over the few years that they were really working at it for charities. And that's really kind of shows the character of Tim Bryan, CT. He was a great guy, and he was, building pistols in Arizona alongside other greats like Ted Yost and Jason Burton, and I know they collaborated on stuff. And Steve Bailey, who worked with Ted and Jason for a while. But a little on the Louder Than Words organization. I believe they were founded in 2004 as industry folks, mostly custom pistol smiths, and their motto was sort of actions speak louder than words. So they would build these guns, auction or raffle them off, and then their action was to put their efforts into a piece and then raffle or auction it off to raise money. Some of the founding members, from what I could gather from various posts and whatnot, was Ted Yost, Lou Bonnets, Ned Christensen, Chuck Rogers, C.T. Bryan, Don Williams, John Harrison, Stan Chen, and Lou Alessi. Lou Alessi, of course, was a holster maker. Stan Chen was a pistol smith and now more of a parts manufacturer. John Harrison, of course, was a very prolific gunsmith, now parts manufacturer. Don Williams is retired. C.T. Bryan's passed away. Chuck Rogers is still active. Ned Christensen is still active. Lou Bonnets moved on to building rifles, and Ted Yost also retired a couple years ago. So that list of guys is not super active in the community anymore. Certainly several of the retired ones or ones that moved into the parts business are still in the know, so to speak. But a little bit about this gun. Like I said, it's an early 80s, late 70s series production gun, so small roll mark gun. The gun has a melted in, nicely chamfered, beveled Bomar BMCS rear sight. We've got a flat top that's serrated on top of the slide. Front sight is a semi-patridge unit that's staked in place. Barsto, match barrel, so stainless Barsto match barrel with a match bushing. The gun does have a full-length guide rod. The slide stop is a King's unit. The thumb safety is a Swenson ambidextrous safety. The rear of the slide is really beautifully hand checkered, a nice fine checker job on that. We've got an early Ed Brown no memory bump grip safety there. That's fit to the frame. Mainspring housing is flat and checkered to match the front strap. One pretty easy tell of an early Tim Bryan gun is this checkering field. A lot of his early pieces weren't checkered. He built quite a few guns that you'll find that sometimes just the barrel is marked CT Bryan, or they're stamped under the serial number like this gun. And I've seen, I don't know, maybe a dozen of those that aren't checkered at all. I don't know if that was, Tim getting his chops about checkering, or just that, the clientele he had in the day were foregoing checkering and just slapping some Pachmeyer grips on it. Certainly, we've all built guns without checkering, and some of them are even full house efforts other than no checkering. But that's just one observation about early Tim Bryans, is sometimes you'll find them and they're not checkered. It's got a 7-hole CT Bryan trigger there. That's kind of a signature move of his. He would take a 3-hole greeter trigger or Wilson part and drill 4 smaller holes around the 3 holes that are already in the trigger. And then he would chamfer those holes, and as you turn it in the light, those chamfers are bright. So he would bead blast the trigger itself after fitting, drill the holes, and then chamfer all the holes so that the chamfers were a bright, freshly cut finish to make them stand out. This gun does have a nub slide stop and HRT, or recessed hole in the frame there. The gun is an early one, like I said, so no frame welding. This one was peened to tighten it. I believe this is a titanium hammer, which kind of dates it to probably a late 80s, early 90s, or maybe even late 90s build, but certainly built in the style of a late 70s to 80s combat auto. The classic two-tone look, the classic feature set of Barsto, Bomar's checkering two-tone. That look has to date still not gone out of style, and I hope it never does. It won't at this shop anyway. But really a slick build, and a nice classic. I said in a previous CT Bryan video that I really do love his earlier work, some of his early comp guns and these early combat auto style builds that just, to my eye, are lovely to look at and really nicely laid out. It's got everything I could want on a government model, and not a bunch of angular cuts and harsh lines that, to my eye, distract from the overall beauty in the lines that are there on 1911. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please drop a like, subscribe to the channel. If you jump down into the description, you'll see a link there to join our email list if you really like the stuff we present here. It's a good idea to subscribe to that email list. You'll get 1 to 2 emails a week on shop updates and new drops on the site and whatnot. Really appreciate you tuning in, and thank you.